Hey, welcome. And by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly how you can create CloseBot chatbot demos in seconds and not hours. How do I know that? Well, I'm going to give away this entire snapshot 100% free, as well as the CloseBot settings and prompts 100% free, no paywalls. So if you follow this demonstration and watch all the way through, which I recommend because there's some nuance in this build out and there's some tips and tricks that you might want to learn along the way. If you follow all that and you import the snapshot and you press play, you're going to be able to do this. That way, the next time you have to build a demonstration for a client, it happens in seconds and not hours. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Justin, and I like to create content just like this, showing you exactly how I solve problems inside my business and exactly how I solve problems for people in my community and some of my clients. Now, if you're new here, all of my free giveaways are located inside of my free school community, which is Automation Station. If you come into Automation Station, I'll leave a link down below in the description, but essentially if you search Automation Station inside of school, come in here, click on video announcements, and just search for the title of this video, and everything you're going to need is going to be inside of one of these videos. So if you come in here and I pop in one of these, let's see, some of these are for the premium community, but let's see, this one I think we gave away something. There you go. So this one has a giveaway, so there's an attachment. If there's any links like the Google Doc, it'll be provided here inside of the post. So just come in here, search video announcements, go ahead and search for the title of this video and you'll find it. Enough of that. All right, so what are we going to do and why are we doing it? I always like to cover why. As a matter of fact, I spent a lot of time making this graphic, so I'm going to explain this graphic for a second here. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to provide a website, and that's all we're going to do. So let's say we have, I think in this demo, we're going to use a pressure washing company. Maybe I think I have a pet company. Yeah, there we go. If you got a pet grooming company. So let's just say you're talking to a pressure washing company. They have a website. All you need to do is drop a website in a form that I supercharged and created just for you. It's got a bunch of custom code in it that will enable you to automatically do deep research on this website with AI and build your CloseBot prompt. All that stuff's going to happen automatically. All you need to do is copy and paste the website and click analyze. Click submit, the rest is history. So overall, give you the 10,000-foot view of this system. Once you click submit, this system's going to go out, and this system's just a Go High Level sub account with a snapshot that you're going to load up. And it's going to go out to Perplexity, which is a large language model if you're not familiar with it. It's going to go out to Perplexity. It's going to visit the website. It's going to summarize the website so that I can build your CloseBot prompt. Additionally, we used another service to go get a screenshot of the website so we can personalize the funnel and essentially automatically building a funnel with a web chat widget on it. So you can send to your client and they can interact with it live, or maybe you're doing a live demonstration on Zoom and you just want to build it really fast before you hop on the call and you can show them live as well. And then the bot's going to be created from custom values that we have inside of our sub account. So I'm going to show you how to do all that. I'm going to try to keep it brief and do it as fast as possible, but some notes, some housekeeping. All right. I already mentioned snapshots, and then I have this Google Doc here with all the settings that you need for your CloseBot. That's going to be all provided for you for free in the school community, as I mentioned. Now, let's see. Go download or follow along. Yeah, follow along because this one is a little bit complicated. There is some nuance. There are some settings that you're going to have to configure. So if you just like copy the snapshot and then go, it's just not going to work. You're going to have to, there's custom values you need to set. And then I need you to be aware of how the bot actually works. You probably want to know how it works because you might want to modify it, or you should probably know how it works before you demonstrate it to another client. This demo is meant to be exactly that, a demo. This is meant to not be a self-selling AI chatbot. And when people say that, and I've created videos on self-selling AI chatbots, but it's never really sold itself. So I'm not really sure. I think it's kind of a myth, but this isn't a self-selling AI chatbot. This is essentially a chatbot that you can spin up really fast. Let's say you have a discovery call with somebody, the veterans pressure washing here, and you want to build a demo for them. They want to see it. They want to touch it. Well, you can just go ahead and copy paste their website, generate a demo, and send it to them in minutes instead of going back, getting off the call, waiting hours, configuring it, testing it, and then sending it to them. Because somebody said time kills all deals. I don't know. I'm not a sales dude, but I guess time kills deals somewhere. Now, this is also a repetitive task. So I found myself doing this over and over and over again. And really my motivation to create this was every time I hopped off a sales call, I was creating demos and it was taking me like an hour. And that hour, I have a full-time job and I have a business to run and I have a family. And so every time I'm down here in my basement, creating content, creating stuff, creating demonstrations on sales calls, I'm taking time away from my family. It was a repetitive task that I wanted to automate. And so that's why I automated it. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. I wish I had this when I first started. There were other systems out there, but they were hidden behind paywalls and people selling stuff. I had to like attend some webinar and listen to somebody do verbal gymnastics around me, and then I had to decide whether I wanted to buy or not. But truth is, it's not that complicated. It's not rocket surgery. We're going to see how to do it right here today. So I also said that I was going to do this a long time ago, and I was losing sleep over this. So back on January 1st, January 1st, I posted this in the CloseBot community, and 12 comments here. A few people were interested in doing it, and I'm ashamed to say I told some people that I would record this, and I never did. But in all fairness, I was just going to record how I created the magical form. Now I'm providing you with an entire snapshot. So hopefully I make up for lost time, but I certainly lost some sleep as I knew in the back of my head I had to do this. And there's a few others on my list. So be nice to me. I know I need to do some other ones. So what are some limitations? So this is currently limited to one demo live at a time. So you'll see that once we fill out this form, I'm actually gonna go out and grab a screenshot of the website and personalize the funnel for the client. And what that does is kind of pigeonholes that one funnel to that one client. Not to mention, we have one set of custom values that we're going to fill in with all the company information. And so right now, if you fill out this form, it's really only live for one client. I should have also added that I'm using the free tier of the screenshot app, which you're probably going to want to use as well, so you don't spend money. And I think there is a timer on how long screenshots are stored. So it's probably a few days or something like that. And so if you wait a few days, then that screenshot's just going to die off. You're going to see what I mean here in a second. So yeah, right now, currently limited to one demo bot at a time. You can modify this snapshot and extend it and scale it to host more demos at once. But I guess this is, I'm a side hustle guy. I don't necessarily hop on 20 sales calls a week and try to close 17 people a week. I'm just steady going, trying to get people, trying to demonstrate this to people. So one bot at a time hasn't been a huge limiting factor for me. If you're a huge enterprise agency, then maybe this might be an issue, but then you probably have resources to try and modify this and extend it for your use case. All right, so components. I just wrote this down sort of as a roadmap so that I can follow this. So first things first, we're gonna need the Perplexity API. So in this video, or in this system, I use Perplexity, and let me pull up the form here so you can see it. And we're gonna go in order because I wanna make sure that you guys understand what's going on here. I'm not going to go over how to import a snapshot. So when you go into the school community and you download the snapshot, there's tons of information about how to import a snapshot. If you need help importing the snapshot, just post in the community and somebody will help you. But I don't want to cover that here. I think it's kind of out of scope and there's tons of content out there. But here is the form, okay? So here's what's going to happen. If I just copy this website right here, this is just an example of a company that I'm using, Shout Out Veterans Pressure Washing out of Murfreesboro. Cool. So if I paste that in here, you'll see that these purple buttons light up. That's not a normal feature of Go High Levels forms. Okay. This is a feature that I've created with embedded JavaScript. Okay. I'm not going to go through and show you what it does just yet because I want you to understand. But when I click Analyze, what's actually going to happen is the form is going to reach out. It's not actually the form, but for all intents and purposes, the form's going to reach out to Perplexity, which is that large language model. Think ChatGPT or Claude. Perplexity, it's going to reach out and it's going to get a website summary. It's going to get the company name, company information, company services. And we're going to use that information to build our CloseBot prompt. And it's all going to happen automatically. But it all starts with this form right here. So first thing we need, though, is an API key for Perplexity. And I don't even know why I blurted it out here because I'm going to end up leaking it anyway. And I'm going to change the API key after this. Don't share your API keys with people because people will use them and they'll spend your money. It's crazy. Internet's awesome. But if you go to perplexity.ai/accounts/API/keys, or just go to Perplexity, if you log in here, come into your settings right here, and then click on API keys, and then you can just create a new key right up here, and it'll create it for you. There you go. I leaked it anyway. So let me blow this up. All right, these will be deleted after the video. So here we go. We have our API keys. What we're going to need to do is copy one of them. So assuming you've already imported the snapshot, we're going to come over here into settings, custom values, and then inside of our custom values, we have a custom value named Perplexity API key. If you can't find it for some reason, just search Perplexity and you'll see it here. And all you need to do is edit and fill in your API key here. I already have it filled in, so we don't have to worry about it. Next thing we're going to need to do is go to a website called apiflash.com. This is a super cool, API, which will actually go out and screenshot a website for you. And there's a few other things that it'll do for you, but we're just going to use a very basic tier. And right here, the free plan is going to allow us to do everything that we need. So we have 100 screenshots a month, and yeah, that's plenty. Okay, if you're doing more, you can probably afford one of these more pricier plans, but free plan is fine. Once you log in with your email, you'll get an access key right here. Again, here I go leaking my access key. Can I delete this access key? Yeah, I can. Cool. So I'll do that afterwards. But you'll go ahead, you'll get this access key, you'll copy this access key and come into your custom values. And again, just like the Perplexity key, you'll have a custom value, assuming you imported the snapshot. You'll come in here and you will paste your your access key in here. Now, if you did not import your snapshot, or you can't import your snapshot because you're on somebody else's white label, I feel for you. You can go out and ask the agency to import the snapshot for you. A lot of them are helpful and they will actually import the snapshot for you, but you can also just pause the video and create these custom values as we go through it. So that is, I think that checks off a few things. So let's see if I can get my pen to work here. Let's see. I've been having trouble with this pen. So Perplexity API key, there you go. Got that. API flash API key, got that. Next thing we're going to go over is custom values. So let's go ahead and do that. So custom values, I think I got to turn off my, there you go. All right. I don't really know how to work this pen yet, so bear with me. So custom values. We have some custom values here that we are going to use as sort of placeholders for information that we are going to fill out for the company. Now, these custom values are going to be referenced later on in our CloseBot bot configuration, but you see here we have company information, and they sort of align with the fields that you see here. You have company information, company name, company services, company website, and then we have the screenshot URL. And you see right here, I have it filled out with veterans pressure washing stuff. I didn't fill this stuff out manually. It actually got filled out automatically. And so I'll kind of show you an example here. If I come over here to this, the pet lodge, or the lodge.pet, if you come over here, and I analyze this website, kind of giving you a sneak preview to how this works, and I just click submit. And I give it a few seconds for our automation to kick off. If I just go ahead and refresh this custom values page, in a moment, it might take a refresh or two, you should see these custom values be updated. And there you go. Custom values were automatically updated. I didn't do that. The system did that for us, and the website screenshot sometimes takes about a minute to grab. So this website screenshot may not be active right now, but it will be here in a second. But I digress. So let's go ahead and cool. We'll say that covers our custom values. Next, let's go to custom fields. So custom fields, as you all may or may not know, are the difference between custom fields and custom values. Custom values are account-wide. They're sort of global settings for the entire account, and custom fields have the scope of the contact itself. So these are relevant to individual contacts. So in the snapshot, we have two folders that are created. You have bot demos folder, and what the bot demos folder is essentially the same matching custom fields for custom values. And why do we do that? In order to ask these questions inside of our form, we need to have them as custom fields inside of a contact. So that's why I have them here in a folder called bot demos all alone, but they're only really going to be used whenever we fill out this form. And that information is going to get stored in a contact, even though that contact doesn't have a phone number assigned to it. It doesn't have a name assigned to it or an email address assigned to it. All it has is a company name and a website, a company services, company information, and a website screenshot. That's okay. We just need somewhere to store that information so that we can process it and add them to custom values in the workflow. It'll make more sense here in a second. So we have those, and then we have another folder here called General Demo, and we have three objectives. We have fields, essentially, for objectives so that we can store information about these fields, and you'll see where we'll use these inside of the CloseBot bot configuration. So we have three general objectives. If you wanted to add a fourth, you could. I have three. You can have two. It doesn't matter. We just need general objectives. Notice I'm calling them general objectives, and I'm not calling them pet objectives or pressure washing objectives, and that's because this system's intended to be used with any industry that you want to use it with. So we're going to keep it general. Awesome. Form. All right. I went over this very briefly. Let me go over it in a little bit more detail, but I'm not going to get in the weeds about the form because, quite frankly, it's pretty complicated, and the scope of the JavaScript it can take a whole video series in and of itself to try to break it down. So if you're truly curious about the JavaScript and what makes this thing work, you're going to have this in your snapshot. This isn't like proprietary Apple code that I'm trying to guard, and this isn't a trade secret. I just don't feel like explaining it here in the video. You can copy this whole script, you can paste it into ChatGPT and tell it to explain it to you like you're 5, and it'll go ahead and you guys can work through that lesson, you and ChatGPT. But essentially what we have here is a simple form, okay? You notice here we have these buttons that actually don't show up inside the form builder. That's because they are added in the script and they are presented and created inside of the script when the script executes. So once you render this page, when you load it, the script executes and it puts these buttons here. Notice they're grayed out because it's waiting for a website to come in, all right? So what this form does is as soon as I put in a website, we did the pet one last, so let's go ahead and do veterans pressure washing. I'm going to go ahead and do copy and open, okay? I rarely use this, but sometimes I do. If I do this, it's actually going to copy the prompt that this form is using, and it's going to put it into Perplexity for us. And so we can actually see it happen live, and if sometimes what will happen is Perplexity will get the website wrong. That happens sometimes. This isn't 100% foolproof, but if you do that, then maybe you can prompt back and forth with Perplexity and work through the actual summaries and getting the correct information. Well, let's go ahead and click that. So once I do that, you see a window opens with Perplexity, assuming you're logged in. You were logged in earlier because you got your API key, right? And you see right here, the prompt is very simple. It's using the website below, return the following, and then we just gave it the information that we wanted. We told it to return it in JSON format, do not include any citation or citation markings, and it returned this information, okay? Now notice I just clicked copy and open, so none of that information is automatically pulled up here. It's not automatically filled in these fields, and it's because we did copy and open. So we decided to go the manual way. But if we just click analyze and do that, well, it's going to do that on the back end using the API, invisible to us. It doesn't open a new window. It's two programs talking to one another. And you see here, the form creates some more fields for us. It tells us what it got, and pretty cool. If you click on these gray boxes, it'll actually copy it to your clipboard. So you can just copy and paste it somewhere if you needed it. And then also it automatically fills out these fields for us. And all we have to do is click submit. And then that is going to ask if I'm a robot because I'm super awesome. And then it's going to submit that. That's going to trigger an automation that we're going to go over here in a second, which essentially is going to update the custom values for us automatically and go fetch the website screenshot so it can personalize our funnel. That is the form. Okay, now let's go ahead and back out of the form. What do we have next? Automations. Cool. Perfect transition here. So inside of the automations, we have two automations. One of our automations is our bot processing automation. So if you are unfamiliar with CloseBot, then this is probably an advanced video for you, and you should probably not watch this because it wouldn't make sense. But if you're used to using CloseBot, you know that whenever you integrate it into a sub account, you have some setup instructions and you have to create a single workflow. Now this is on version 1. Version 2 won't require a workflow, and then maybe I'll create a new video showing you how to do this in version 2 whenever version 2 is released. But for now, everybody's on version 1, and for the next few weeks, people will be on version 1, and some people may choose to stay on version 1, so this is still relevant. But essentially, all this is me following the tutorial here and creating my single workflow, and that workflow is my bot processing workflow. That's what I call it. You can call it whatever you want. Now, one nuance here is that the trigger here is very much configured to only get triggered when a specific live chat widget is being interacted with. And the reason I did this was because maybe you import this snapshot into something else that you have already running. And if this comes in, I just want to make sure that this demo bot isn't responding to all your contacts. It's only this live chat widget that we create specifically for our demonstrations, and pretty simple workflow just with these filters. And then we send the message to CloseBot because we need to. You can use the white label URL here that CloseBot provides if you wanted to, but this is meant to be an internal tool for the team. So there's really no reason to white label this portion. You wouldn't be installing this in your account unless you're like serving an AI agency that's selling stuff and you're building this for them. So I didn't white label it. So here we go. We have those two automations, pretty simple. The other automation that's in here is the custom values updater. So as you can imagine, the trigger is the bot info form. this bad Larry right here. That's the bot info form. So whenever this is submitted, it triggers this workflow, and it's pretty simple. All we're doing is coming in and updating custom values. So we're taking the information that's stored in the contact, these custom fields, and we're updating these custom values. There's no changes you really have to make in here. Lastly, what happens, and this sometimes takes about a minute to occur. So if you like come into the execution logs and watch this live right after you submit, you'll notice that this step takes the longest. But all this is a custom webhook. We're reaching out to API Flash. This API call is already configured for you, so there's no changes you need to make. So long as your custom value with the API key is already configured, then this should just work for you. And assuming you have a valid API Flash account, that'll go out, reach out and grab the screenshot, and then we just update the custom value with the screenshot URL, and then we delete the contact. Now, why do we delete the contact? Remember I said every time we fill out this form, a contact gets created even though we don't have a phone number and email? Well, a contact gets created. And so I just delete that contact so that we don't clutter up our CRM with just random contacts for companies. You don't have to delete the contact. I chose to. So if we back out of that, we are done with automations. Now, the next thing we need is a live chat widget. And unfortunately, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think this is the one thing that won't get transferred in the snapshot. So you might just have to come in here, create a new live chat widget, and then you can just name it live chat or whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of here and delete that because I already have one. But I made no modifications to this. You can come in here and modify the color, the placement, and all that stuff. Some people like to modify the title, the intros to get rid of like sort of this auto response. I leave it in there for now. It's kind of nice because it's like an immediate response. And when I'm demonstrating this, even though I know it's not the bot, my client might think it's the bot and they're like, oh, wow, that's fast. So whatever, you can make changes to it if you want, but you do need to create this live chat widget, and preferably before you create the funnel, because you're going to refer to this live chat widget whenever you create the funnel. And really, you're not creating the funnel because it's very important in the snapshot. It's already created for you. So that's the live chat widget. Next thing we need to cover is the funnel. The funnel is pretty cool, but it's really simple too. So we have a general demo funnel here, one page, and the page is actually empty. If we edit this, it might render it renders the picture here for us because Go High Level Smart, and it does our preview, but I'm going to show you something. If I click on this one section, really all that's here is one section and nothing else, and it's just a screenshot of the website. Again, this part's optional, and if you want to remove this, you can. There's issues where like this may not render correctly on a mobile device, so you can choose how you do this, but I just thought it was a cool feature to add to personalize the demo for the company. You can remove it if you want, but what we're doing here is clicking here on the background section, and then we're just referring to our custom value website screenshot, which is the URL that our webhook and that automation stored the URL for the website screenshot in here, and it's just setting it as the background for the entire funnel, and that's how we get the personalization. Now, some people may say, well, yeah, you can embed an iframe in here instead, and I'm like, yeah, cool, that's technical, maybe you can. Sometimes iframes are funky, and other websites don't allow other websites to embed their site in an iframe, and so just to get around that, we take a screenshot and save it back there. Now, last thing we need to do here is in settings. You notice we have our live chat widget selected. That's the chat widget we just spoke about, and you can click save. I already have mine saved. So now when you pop this open, assuming you filled out the form and that workflow completed, the screenshot was fetched. If I view page, I should have a veterans pressure washing page. Now, none of these buttons work. Again, this is just vanity. And then we have our chat widget right here that I was testing earlier. So you see I have a conversation here. And yeah, that's how we do that. So now, the important part, I think we need to go over CloseBot. Yeah, there you go. We got the funnel. We're moving quick. Now let's go into CloseBot. So if you are new to CloseBot, again, I think this may be a little advanced and maybe you should watch some other tutorials before you come in here. But if you're watching this, you're probably not new to CloseBot. And so in CloseBot, we have a demo bot here built, and you can do the same for yourself. Our settings are pretty standard. Again, all these settings that I use are copy and pastable provided in this Google Doc that you will get for free. So let's come back in here and let me just show you. You can name this bot whatever you want. I chose to name it Samantha. You can create a custom value that names it whatever you want if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it as Samantha. Label doesn't really matter. These settings don't really matter for here. Integrations, you need to just make sure that you're integrated into the correct account, the correct sub account. So this is my Snapshot account that I'm using for this demonstration, and so we're integrated to that in addition to another sub account, a testing account. Don't pay attention to that. You don't need 2 accounts. You only need 1. This is me. I actually have a live demo up right now that a client is messing with, and then this is me building this out for the tutorial. Detections, not really important for the demonstration, so I'm not going to go over that. I have them all turned on right now, but not important for the demonstration. Here is the important part for the demonstration. So bot voice here, we have friendly and unprofessional. Why the conversation is happening, you notice we're going to have a very generic prompt, right? Your name is rep name who works for custom value company name, because that's a fill in the blank. You are responsible for sales development, and that is it. I'm just leaving it very, very bland, okay? And then right over here, we just have essentially like a form that we have our custom values that are being copied and pasted in here. Every time we fill out that form, these custom values are going to change. So that's what makes this prompt a little bit more extensible. And now I'll go into the objectives here in a second to explain how we make it even better. But company name, company info, services provided, and the company website. All that information was provided inside of our handy dandy magical form. And then how to respond, very generic as well. I copied and pasted all these settings. As a matter of fact, I use these settings for production bots as well. So you can just take these settings and experiment with them as you start to fulfill your clients. Objectives, here's where it gets a little bit fun, okay? So we have some pretty generic objectives, no pun intended, but name first and foremost. I always like to ask for name first, just in case they're coming in via live chat. Maybe if they came in via Facebook form, maybe we already have their name, but no problem. We skip this objective if it's already filled out. But these general objectives is kind of where the magic happens. So general objective 1, okay, determine why lead name is contacting the business. That's a very generic objective that can apply to any business. Hey, why are you contacting us? And so once we get that, this is the magical objective. Gather more details about, and then we have a fill in the blank, general objective 1. So just like that, we personalized the prompt, because if we asked them why they were contacting us in objective 1, and then we refer to objective 1 in objective 2 to ask for more details, and furthermore, we still refer to objective 1 whenever we ask for the timeline for objective 1, right? So pretty cool, little hacky, keeps it generic and allows us to extend this to multiple businesses. And so I have the screenshots of these settings in here. You can tweak and tune sort of sensitivity. You notice I have like the sensitivity set to 20 for some of these. And it's really because I'm not so concerned about the quality of conversation that this bot is having with the business owner. I truly just mean this as a demo for them to get familiar with sort of how the bot responds, what the bot knows about their business. And I set the expectation up front and say, hey, I'm going to build this bot in like a matter of a few minutes. So this isn't your actual bot. Like, we will spend hours building your bot, training your bot, but this is just to give you a feel for how fast this thing can respond and how well it can deal with objections and so on and so forth. So next objective here is just a generic phone number objective, collect the phone number, and then we ask for a callback time. Now, you don't have to ask for the callback time. You can actually create a booking objective if you wanted to. I have a calendar provided inside of the snapshot. If you wanted to just come in a calendar booking and come into the snapshot, go to calendars, calendar settings, and copy this calendar ID, you can do that, paste it in here, and then you can delete the callback time. But I'm going to leave it just as it is. Let me not save that. Let me refresh. I just asked for a callback time. I actually find that companies, and maybe I just deal with small home service companies, they don't actually like the bot booking estimates on their calendar. Very few of my clients like that. Most of them just like a callback time. They don't have nice, clean calendars. So what are we going to do now? Let's go ahead and test this. Let's make sure it works, okay? So I'm going to come in here and delete contacts. Make sure I have no contacts stored, because that would ruin it for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete. All right, dismiss, and let's refresh to see if it's deleted. All right, that contact was deleted. So now what I'm going to do is let's come into our form, and I'm going to refresh this form just to make sure we have nothing set in here. Let's go to our custom values, make sure we know. Let's change the company. So we did veterans pressure washing last. Let's go ahead and go back to our handy dandy pet company, and let's just paste the website and click analyze. The Pet Lodge. The Pet Lodge is a one-stop location providing all pet care needs, including suites, boarding, services, grooming, yada, yada, yada. Here are the services. Sweet. Let's go ahead and submit this. Let's see if we can catch the workflow in action. So if I come in here, yep, we have one actively enrolled. Let's see what step it's on. I bet it's the gathering the snapshot. Oh, it already finished. Cool. But it gathered the website snapshot. If I come in here and I copy this and paste it, you see Yeah, that's a snapshot of this website. Pretty cool. It's a screenshot, so there's no video, but cool enough, right? Cool enough to wow the client. So now we'll come over here, and here's a link that you would share with the client, or maybe that you would just pull up in a live Zoom call. So here's our demo funnel. I'm just going to click on the preview page, and here we are. So here's a preview page. Here's our web chat widget, and I'm going to say, hey. And you notice this wasn't CloseBot. This was actually 𝐭𝐻 that actually reached out and responded. But this part was CloseBot. Hey, how's your day going? By the way, what's your name? Justin Melendez. And I'm going to ask it a question here in a second. Let's see. What is it going to respond with? Nice to meet you, Justin. What brings you to the pet lodge today? Do you guys do grooming? I have a doodle who smells like trash. True story. Poor doodle. Yes, full service grooming. When are you thinking of getting your pup freshened up? ASAP. And this is the bot talking, right? We just literally, we put a website in and this is happening. You could tell it's the lodge. It knows a little bit about the lodge. It knows about the services. We can definitely help with that. Our groomers are great with doodles. Can I grab your phone number? Yeah. Cool. There's the phone number. And it should ask for a callback time. If it doesn't, that's fine. Again, we are just trying to demonstrate the ability to, there you go, pass the information, reach out, cool. Didn't ask for the callback time, but not a huge deal, right? The prompts can be modified. Again, I can ask questions. We don't have the AI off tag here configured because this is just a demo. This is essentially just meant for the business owner to be able to play with this. I'm Samantha, happy to help if you need anything at the Pet Lodge. Cool. So there it is. You have this entire system. You can download this snapshot again in the free school community. Go to video announcements, find the title of this video and download the snapshot, import it and play with it, make it your own. Hopefully you found this video valuable. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I wish I had this. It would have saved me a ton of time and I think it's going to save you a ton of time. So till next time, see you later. Peace.